What do you usually do during the day?
I usually balance work and study because at the moment I'm working as an English teacher, and meanwhile I have to study for my speaking one skill retake IELTS. It's quite tricky, and sometimes I feel snow under. For example, during daylight, I will study and practice my speaking skills, and at night, I will teach online classes. I think sometimes I feel a little bit overwhelmed, but I'm trying to manage.
Do you enjoy what you are doing now?
I think yes, because this work helps me to stay in track with my goal, which is attempting to get a 9 in IELTS. Because, it's really sticking with me that I have to follow my strict schedule. And I try my best to save time for studying. So teaching English is something that really supports my study. For example, whenever I teach students, I try to engage my knowledge and the things I just learned into the lessons. So it benefits both. It's like a stone, a stone hitting two birds. So they get my knowledge updatedly, and also I can recall what I learned, which is really beneficial for my study. And I think that's really what I'm enjoying to do.
What skills do you use most in your daily work or study?
I think right now, mostly speaking, because I teach English classes, which mainly focus on this skill and try to make people communicate more effectively in English. For example, I usually teach 3 to 4 classes per day, which concentrate on how to help people pronounce correctly, and I always help them to generate ideas in English more quickly, and also more accurately. I think that's the thing that I'm quite good at.
Would you like to change what you're doing in the future?
I think properly. Right now, I'm building something more sustainable. Because at the moment I realized that teaching alone could not help me to build a profitable future, especially when it comes to my financial plan. So I try my best to, for example, build an online course, or to set up my reputation on a specific field, for example, like speaking skills in English. So I can sell courses, or I can scale up my business in the future, which helps me to generate passive income. I think that's wiser. That's a wiser plan for me to follow.
How do you manage your time effectively between work and study?
I would say I always need to have a note. I often write everything down, all the plans I have to follow during the next day, the day before. For example, like right now, it's around 10 or 10:30 p.m. So I try my best to list everything that I can think of right now into my daily note, so I can keep track on the task tomorrow, and I'm not gonna be rushed or chasing after any tasks, or miss anything. The reason why I do that is because I have missed a lots of tasks, and which led to the often bad consequences. So I just learn from the lesson, and I try my best to keep myself posted with notes.
Why do you believe teaching enhances your own learning process?
As I remember, there is a process that encourages teaching to remember knowledge. I don't remember the name actually, but I just know that there are a couple of processes. For example, like first one, you receive the knowledge and then you process it. You try to memorize it and you totally understand it. Then you teach the others to recall what you learned. For example, whenever I learn new words or new collocations in English, those are C2, C1, C2, difficult to remember. I often teach them to my students. So, whenever you teach someone, you have to convey them in the easiest way possible, right? And to do that, you have to understand very thoroughly the matters that you are mentioning. So it helps me to remember it longer and to learn to apply it more effectively in daily usage. I think that's more of a pragmatic way to study.
How do you ensure your students improve their speaking skills?
The reason why I'm sure that my students get benefit from speaking skills that was taught by me, because I always encourage them to practice daily, because rehearse or practice makes perfect. But sometimes perfect practice makes perfect, right? So I try my best to guide my students to know how to practice them effectively. Like they have to learn new words and use them in collocations. Don't try to learn separate words, and they have to practice, even one collocations in different sentences. And just 10 minutes per day, it's enough. Consistency always beats intensity. That's the recommendation that I always give to my students. I think that helps me. Not only me, but it was proved by my students' improvement in speaking skills.
Why do you think building an online course is a wise plan?
It depends. I personally think that's very beneficial because it saves you time, money, because normally the online courses are much cheaper than offline ones. And also it helps you to stay active with your study. You can adjust your timetable more suitable to your study schedule, and you can rewatch the records of your classes. You can study it, time to time until you totally understand it, which is sometimes limited in terms of access to offline classes. For example, whenever I need to study a new language, like I was doing Chinese 1 year ago, I chose an online class because it helped me to um, study wherever I go, and I can save my time, especially when I was juggling between work and study. So to me, it's really convenient and effective if we know how to make use of those advantages.